All right. Welcome to another episode, guys. Another review episode of NRW. It's going to be me and Rob, the movie guy, today.
Hello, everybody.
I appreciate you coming out, man. Thank you so much for coming out to the show.
As always, man, I appreciate you inviting me here.
Man, no problem. So we're going to be going over the movie Jobe's World, which is a little indie flick. Kind of a weird, bizarre flick to say, none the least. Starts off really weird, but it's about a middle-aged rollerblader who kind of goes up and down in the middle of the night, dropping off. He's kind of a drug dealer in a way, dropping off his supplies, I guess, to his customers throughout the night, and then eventually he ends up meeting one of these well-known actors, one of his favorite actors, and he drops off a special package for him. Later in the night, finds out that actor passes away, and then kind of this weird night that he has afterwards, trying to figure out what to do, dodging police, paparazzi, and a bunch of like really sad and upset fans. The setup was weird. I went into this movie with some expecting kind of weird, dirty '90s grungy flick, and it started off with like a really odd monologue, very spacey monologue. So first of all, we're going to go through the cons first, and then go through to the pros. For me, Rob, the movie was all over the place.
Yeah.
It has several different plot lines that just weren't cohesive, that weren't together for me. It didn't really make sense transition-wise. And it kind of fell flat. To me, there was like a lot of build up, and then it kind of fell flat by the end of the story, and it was just very eccentric to say the least. But I kind of get where they were going. What about you?
Yeah, I have the same sentiments too with the film. I kind of got the vibe that it was more of like you said, like a '90s grungy film. Like right off the bat, the imagery of the film kind of reminded me of the movie Kids, the Larry Clark. I think the Larry Clark film, if I'm not mistaken, or Larry Arthur. I can't remember his name, the director's name. But it had that weird street vibe to it. But it had this like really distracting music, like this atmospheric space type of vibe to it that really took me out of the film because that music was so distracting. With him doing the voiceover over that, it just didn't really flow together.
Very EDM, wasn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, it was in a weird way. It was, but right off the bat with that film, him doing the voiceover and then hearing that music in the background, I was automatically taken out of the film because that music was so distracting. And then you have, like you said, you have these weird imageries of I wouldn't say weird rather, but there's imageries of space, black holes, and he's talking about how life doesn't really matter. What's the point of it? And then he goes on about how a manga that he created, which is essential to the plot. And again, you see him making these deliveries to all these customers, and they're all have these weird personalities that I guess is supposed to help elevate the scene, but didn't really do a whole lot for me, other than his roommate, who was kind of a quirky character in his own, but you only see him that one time, and again, you kind of get these characters, and they're almost like one-offs, and then when they do come back, there's really not much of a payoff for them.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt the same way. Exactly. Like, I wanted to see more of that in character interaction, more in depth. Like, what are they doing besides getting their
getting high.
Getting high. That's pretty much. Yeah, they just here. Oh, I'm just here to get high, man. Like, I wanted a little bit more like the build up. Like, okay, how long does he know these guys? Like, why are they customers? Like, are these just random people he's dropping stuff off to? Or these people he actually knew? It was kind of weird to kind of like I was kind of figuring it out as everything went out. Like, oh, okay, they must have known him. He must be his legit customers. Like, I don't know. Like, it was.
one of the customers that was introduced in the beginning of the film is the veteran, who has this dialogue with him about how he's been through it all and he knows how rough the world is, and then he tells him, like, if you need anything, because I know you'll be the type of person that can't survive on his own, you come to me. I'll sort everything out for you because I get things done. And there's this dialogue how he appreciates how that Job is doing him this favor of bringing him these drugs, and then they have a connection with each other with regards to who their favorite actor is, which end up being Royce, played by Theodore Balukas, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Who Balukas is the actor who plays Royce in this film,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they have this bond over that, and they have this understanding of each other that they have this weird connection, but again, it's not really established as far as like how they got to that point. They're just it's a lot of exposition with no substance, if you will. So, um, and again, then the character comes back at the end, which we'll kind of get into as well. But and then there's this weird side plot with regarding his mom needing to be picked up at the airport in
yeah.
30 minutes, and he keeps repeating that throughout the part of the
The
film.
first half of the
Virtually
movie.
everybody, yeah. He tells everybody he interacts with, I gotta go pick up my mom, man. You know, she's waiting me at the airport in 30 minutes. But then, like 30 minutes ago, within the time of the film, he was with his room. He's like, I gotta go to the airport, man, pick up my mom in 30 minutes.
Then he goes to his job, and then he
Yeah,
comes over this package, and then
yeah,
like, and when he finally gets with his mom, like, I kind of could see where that weird kind of relationship between him and his parents. The guy was a loser. Like, he
yeah,
was he was, no pun intended, really skating by
yeah,
with his job.
yeah,
He didn't really have a real job, and he's kind of like this weird interaction. But his mother kind of showed that immaturity in him.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's kind of where the movie kind of fell flat for me, was kind of like it build up to this interaction with Royce. That came to a head, but then it just kind of fell flat. There was no consequences at the end of the film, and that's kind
yeah.
of where was my issue.
Well, to go, I want to go back real quickly to his interaction with his mother. Um, to me, that was obviously the to give you more. It was supposed to give you more insight about Job himself, or give a little back history behind him. And again, it's exposition, but again, there was no payoff for that exposition because it was just uh, there was a lot of different things going on. You kind of get hints here and there about how his dad is involved in some capacity. It's kind of it's not really it's kind of unclear of like what the momentum was, and then but you knew kind of what was going on, and then of course you get the breaking news of how his favorite actor had passed away from ODing, who happened to live stream the whole thing because and there was another thing too that he in his interaction with Royce was that he wanted to give the greatest performance that the world has ever seen, um, hence why he started live streaming his drug intake, and then talks about interacting with Job and how he gave him this manga that he talked about in the beginning of the film as well too, which was a plot device and mentioned in the beginning of the film that was essential to his exposure of who this guy was that delivered the drugs to him. So now the police are after him, and um,
It tried to do a lot in so
yeah,
little. I think that was kind of where the execution kind of ended flat for me,
yeah,
because it did that, it did exposition with that, it had like that magical helper trope at
yeah.
the end, um, where the guy was like, I stepped in shit and I just kind of walked it off, but shit you can wipe. Like, it was kind of like,
Oh
oh, I
no,
know.
no. He was saying, I can walk on anything. I can walk on rocks. I can walk on dirt. I can walk on glass, and I build up so much callus that it doesn't bother me. But you know the one thing that bothers me
So I stepped.
is
Yeah,
when I step in shit. I mean, you can try to wipe it off all you want, but that smell is always there. Out of
yeah.
everything in the world, nothing bothers me except when I step on dog shit. Which in the film, if you remember, there was a scene where he's running away from the cops, and for some reason he decides to go back to the apartment. And I'm thinking maybe there's something important he has to go back to because, I mean, we can get into more of the negatives if you want about that, but even the paparazzi at one point when they're like, well, this guy is the one that killed that delivered the drugs to Royce, and he's responsible for his death. And in that scene, they're saying he's not stupid enough to come back. And lo and behold, there he is coming back to his
He's
apartment,
stupid.
and they catch him,
Yeah.
or they catch him going in and leaving. But he goes inside to his apartment and sees the dog take a shit in the middle of the floor because no one took the dog out. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. I forgot the dog's name, but I'm sorry, Ruffy. No one took you out, and I'm really sorry that we didn't spend enough time. Hopefully, next time, whoever takes care of you will love you more and give you all attention, walk you more. And yeah, you can shit wherever you want, man, because it's not your fault, and I'm not mad at you." Which was
I'm
kind of a nice
shit.
little.
I'm the shit. Yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of a nice little interaction, even though the dog didn't really do much. But then that thing at the end that this wise homeless guy gave, which again we're kind of jumping ahead here, but it was essential to what was happening next, which leads me to the ending. I don't want to spoil the film for anyone who's not seen it because I genuinely want people to watch this film and really see what they get out of it, because what I got out of the ending from the film was this makes absolutely no sense,
no.
because you have this build up to it, and then when it's revealed what happened, what really happens, you're thinking, okay, and we have to really get into spoilers to really to expose those glaring
Yeah.
plot holes there, but it made no sense, and all I kept thinking about was the logic behind it. Is like it just can't work, and the
There
payoff.
was no realism to it. There was
Yeah,
no repercussions for it. No, like I kind of that was kind of wanting to watch more to see what exactly happens.
yeah, and that was more, and unfortunately, and I mean this in a good way, but it's a disappointing thing to say like this, is that the way it ended, I did not like at all. But I was interested in seeing what they could what this character was going to do next, as a result of as a result of this twist, and it just ends. And of course, I can understand maybe they ran out of money and not enough time. I mean, shooting in New York City on its own is a achievement as it is already.
Yeah.
And for one thing, I don't want to bag on the film, thinking that to think that these guys who worked on the film, because they really did put a lot of work into this film. I don't want people to think that we are bagging on the film to say that
No.
this sucked because it's shit acting. It's not that at all. It's just
The
that,
acting. Oh, well, you know what? We'll go to the positives at this
yeah,
point because that's a good segue. The execution of the film was kind of meh, especially when it comes to some transitioning some of the films.
yeah,
But the acting was actually pretty well done.
yeah.
The two actors, whoever played the person who played Joe, I believe was his name, Jason.
Jason
Uh,
Rizzo.
yeah, phenomenal job as Joe. You can really see he captured that immaturity, that kind of loser-esque feel of like him just kind of really just being a bum and just
Yeah,
kind of scraping off the drug that he was trying to sell.
yeah.
You know, like, and that's one thing I can say. Everybody in this movie were not really good guys in a way. Like they weren't bad people,
No.
but they just they were making some stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Um, um, except I think the mom was like the only mom and the magical hobo were like the only like redeemable people in this movie. Um, but
Yeah, but yeah.
like
Okay, sure.
speaking of Joe, his interactions with Royce, those two performances of the film made this film.
By
Um,
far the best thing about the film. I think that's really the only good thing about the film, quite frankly. Apart from this interesting plot device that they had going, that was by far the best thing about the film. Their
agreed,
interaction.
agreed. Um, the Theodore
Maluko, I believe.
Balucos,
I think.
uh, phenomenal job. Like
Yes.
from the introduction
Yep.
to the character and how his presence is almost his regality in a
Yeah.
way.
He has bravado about him.
Very
That
yeah, very. You
Like
know,
very,
and
like you said, regal, and he was very confident, and you could
his
tell with
voice.
the introduction, right, that he was almost at the tail end of his career, that like that no one was really. I mean, they thought highly of him, but that's from his past work. But he's not getting the attention like he used to get, and he keeps bringing up the fact that he wants to give the performance of a lifetime that will
Yeah,
top everything he's ever done, and it was believable. Like I really felt what this guy was coming, where this guy was coming from, and then seeing Job interact with him, showing his vulnerability, and clearly you can see he's very insecure with himself, doesn't think very highly of himself at all, and to come across somebody who he admires and
I
essentially worships, and
idolize that.
and his hero essentially saying, I like what you're doing. I think it's a really good because he gives him his manga and say, I have an idea
Bless you.
about
Yeah,
yeah. And he's gonna go DJ around the world. He's like, I can play that guy. He's like, yeah. He's like, why don't you get? Is there a number I can call? Well, do you have a card? Yeah, here's a card, man. Here's my card. Call my agent. He's like, oh my god. And so things are looking fantastic for him. So, but those moments, those little nuances that he had with Royce was phenomenal. I mean, you saw a broken man, so to speak, who's clearly immature, become vulnerable, and then get a boost of confidence from his hero. And he has a wonderful interaction. You really saw a side of of Job, that was not exposed in the beginning of the film to up to that point, and you really got like a very innocent side of him that we weren't exposed to, that I didn't think he had because he
no,
never.
yeah, and Theodore's portrayal of Royce and like just the his when Joe was watching his the video kind of showing how he died
The live stream, yeah,
was well done. It was
yes,
natural reaction, great. Actual look like horrified as he
yeah,
was watching his hero die.
and it was
But this
impactful.
one was great. It was great, and like then later on when like I guess when he's having the existential crisis and like he sees that a mental image of Royce like
Oh,
just
yeah,
talking crap to him, I lost it because you can
yeah,
tell he was having so much fun. You're an asshole. Like I'm like you're like it was great.
yeah,
It was kind of cool to kind of see Royce in that serious tone and then that vulnerable tone with Job, and then see kind of like that funny comedic side of that same character, kind of
yeah.
being Geo Steve, um, and while doing the live stream as well.
Yeah, and that's set up where, and the reason why Job was being investigated at this point, or being looked up as a primary suspect, was because Royce had said that Job came by my house and delivered these things here to me, and he gave me a manga. It's called Celestial Steven. I'm like, oh, so that setup there was a wonderful way to start. Okay, well then shit's hit the fan. Things
Yeah,
are going to go down,
and I was
and
waiting for that escalation, more escalation. It just fell
yeah.
flat. It
Yeah,
just got
and that's where the positive really ended for me, unfortunately, because um, it just didn't. A lot of things really didn't add up, especially when you get to the end and that twist comes around, and you think, and I'm wondering if people who are listening to and watching this, if they're really kind of picking up on what the twist is going to be without us actually revealing it.
yeah,
But it's it's one of those things like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's not going to work in real life.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
And And the weird thing is, I thought the film was going to take this really weird, like cosmetic approach to thing, like that the what is the meaning of life and what is the purpose of all this here, and have this weird, like, crazy of perspective of life type of thing, like almost like a drug addict type of thing, where is this real? Is it not real? What is he going through? Is it actually happening or not? And none of it made sense, unfortunately, because of what the twist was.
yeah, true. And again, like referring, weird flick.
Yeah,
Execution's kind of weird, but the pros mostly were just
the
the
performances and
portrayal. The
yeah,
performances were great. Um, would I recommend it? Not to your average moviegoer. This is
no,
not something that your average moviegoer would actually enjoy. Um, probably something to kind of look back and kind of like, for story wise, or for any other cinephiles out there, or people like us who actually have done movies in the past, to look at it as character work. I would watch it for Theodore's and Jason's performances in the flick.
Yeah.
But that's it. I wouldn't recommend it to your average movie. How about you?
I'm on the same boat as you on that. I definitely think this film is more of a way to get people talking about. So you saw what they did here. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? And then I would, and without having to reveal the ending, that approach would have got me thinking, how would I have done that differently? How would I be able to shoot that? And then harken back. Okay, well, let's look at this here. You have no money, so how would you actually handle this shot here? If you don't have the budget to do what you want to do, how would you do? Like, that is the type of way that I would approach people who are interested in filmmaking, to really look in that perspective, to really get their wires running, to see how their imaginations are going through their head when it comes to these shots there. I think that's a good way to promote the film. Well, not promote the film, to really get people to watch the film. But I hate to say it like that, because the people who have done the work on this film clearly put a lot of work into it, and they really.
It's a testament to the. It is. It's a testament to the work. It's a little to no budget from what I could tell.
Yeah,
they actually put this movie together, and put it in the way they did with the performances that they did. I give them credit for it.
I do too.
Give them credit for it. And I'm looking forward to see what else they're going to do.
Same here, especially Theodore. Theodore, I think I was like, this guy can be up there with acting with like a lot of the greats. Like, if they cast him to have a small dialogue scene with Al Pacino, I think he would probably make an impact. Like, oh, this guy's actually really good. That guy with Al Pacino, he's that good. I think he can do that. I really believe he can.
I see him taking a villain role.
Yes,
villain role. With Job, same thing. I kind of feel like if he could pull it off, I think he could pull off like a psychotic role in a way. He has that tint of like, I want to see something dark and something a little bit more serious from him.
Yeah.
And then Theodore, I like to see a comedic role from him too, because I think he has the potential to be really funny. Because I really enjoyed those little snippets there.
I would love to see him play like a pimp or something. Like he can, like he has a, hey, come on, sexy lady, get over here. You know I'm talking to you. Yeah. Now go blow him right now. Go blow him. Yeah, do a good job. Like, I can see him do something like that. Like, I would think he'd be hilarious in that, because there were some moments where he shined out, where he's so serious, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, and it was flawless. I thought.
Yeah,
it was really good. So yeah, I agree with you. Have him do some comedy. Yeah, I would love to see him do that.
I would really like to see more. I wouldn't recommend it to your normal moviegoer, but I want to see what else is going to come out of this cast. The director was
Michael Balandic, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Balandic, yeah, Mr. Michael Balandic. I want to see what else this guy can do. I want to see his other work. And I think he can only go up from here.
I agree too. But unfortunately, this film didn't do a lot for me.
No,
Sorry. I'm not to say your film sucked because it was not good. The ideas and the potential was there, but unfortunately, the execution just didn't do it for me.
I think, like I said, with more time and a bigger budget, I want to see, because I think there's potential. There's potential.
I agree with you too.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you, Rob, the movie guy. I appreciate you coming out, man.
Thank you.
Check out more reviews. Check out NRW, new release Wednesdays on YouTube. If you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on David Disaster, or David is Disaster on Twitter and on Facebook. And you can follow Rob, the movie guy, at his social media.
I got Twitter as Rob05. I'm sorry, Rob Medina 0585, and on Instagram, Rob Medina _0585.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.
Adios.